Hello, it's me, Kev, again. We're playing RCS or RSC Dynasty today. I know last time we talked about what happened to me in the Army. In this episode, I want to talk about how I got started in the Army, or how I got interested in the Army, and then the process of getting in, and then what it was like when I got in. Uh, First off, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be in the army. I remember when I was a little kid, I was doing push-ups and, just trying to get in shape, doing push-ups and sit-ups, because I really wanted to be in the army like my dad, and I wanted to be infantry like my dad. Uh, what's this? Oh, drop that crap. So I always wanted to be in the army since I was a little kid, uh, like real little, like 5 years old, and it was always my dream. So I got spit. It was always my dream, and you know, I graduated high school in 2009, and after I graduated, because I graduated late because I had to go to summer school, so I graduated in August, uh, but I had already applied to the Army before that and talked to a recruiter, and he was actually at my graduation, um, but yeah, and I knew I wanted to be in the Army, I knew I wanted to be infantry. Um, I remember one of the recruiters was like, he asked me, "Do you have any kids or a wife or anything like that?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "You should go special forces then." And I'm like, "Nah, I don't want to do that." Uh, 'Cause I didn't really think I could have been special forces at the time. 'Cause special forces training is it's pretty tough, and you got to be physically in shape. You got to be mentally in shape, and I just didn't think I could be, and all I cared was about being in the infantry. Uh, I got a 55 on my ASVAB, so I had more than enough to get in the infantry. And then it took me a year to actually get in the army because of all my medical waivers I had. I broke my arm when I was a kid, about 7 or 8, uh, and I had to get a medical waiver for that. Uh, and I had to get a medical waiver because I was allergic to bees when I was a kid, but I got an immunization shot, so I had to get a test done to make sure that I was not allergic to bees. Um, what else did I have to get? Oh, and I had asthma when I was a kid, so I had to get a waiver for that. Uh, what else? No, there was something else. I think that's it. But anyway, so it took me a year to get in after getting all those waivers, and the MEPS at uh, Fort Lee wouldn't even take me. Uh, like they just kept denying, so I had to go to the MEPS in West Virginia, and they accepted me. And so I did all my tests. I had body weight and all that. Uh, and then it was just a waiting game. And then I finally went to the MEPS. I did my body mass test. They gave me I think I took my oath the first time I went to MEPS. I'm not sure. I think I took the oath the first time I went to MEPS. I think that's what you do. But after that, I went to MEPS and they gave me the breathalyzer and all that and drug test, and I was clean, and uh, so I was ready to go. And then I left that day from because I at MEPS uh, the day before you go, you get to stay in a hotel and for free, obviously. And then you get free breakfast in the morning, and then hold on just a bit. And then the next morning they do all your tests, and then they ship you out. So I was on a bus or a van to Georgia with a bunch of other recruits. Uh, so a bunch of other recruits, and no, it was a pretty quiet ride. We didn't really talk much because I think everybody was like mentally preparing themselves. And we stopped at Golden Corral to eat. I don't remember what I got. I might have got the steak or something, or the pizza. I think I got pizza, but uh, um, and we got to Georgia about 12 o'clock at night, I think it was, and that's when the processes started happening. Uh, the first thing they do is they sit you down and they tell you if you got anything in your any contraband on you, like uh, drugs or cigarettes or dip, to put it. You go into this room and you put it in this like little thing where you can put it in but you can't get it out, and it was no questions asked. You put it in there and get off. You good. I mean, I had a pack of cigarettes and I didn't get to finish them, but I kind of wish I would have held on to them, but I'm glad I didn't. I'll tell you why in a minute. Uh, but then they give you all your well, at first they gave us our uh, PT gear and uh, all that. That's the first thing they give you, and then I can't remember what they did next. Just giving us all our PT gear pretty much, and our PT winter gear. Uh, and then uh, they showed us to our rooms, and they told us to take a shower, brush your teeth, shave, and get ready for bed. And that's pretty. Night I was pretty anxious, but they still let us have our phones at that time, so I was just texting friends, getting on Facebook, and just messaging people. Uh, just messaging people and you know, trying not to worry about what was to come. Because I knew it was going to be hard. Like I knew what I was going into. I remember, because I'm colorblind, and they don't let you into the infantry if you're colorblind. And I remember at MEPS, the guy asked me, he's like, "You're colorblind?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm red green colorblind." And he's like, uh, "What are you going to do if they don't let you in the infantry?" And I said, "Well, I guess I'm not joining the army then." And he signed the paper off, and they let me into the infantry, and that was it. Uh, but that first night was definitely had some anxiety and stuff. Uh, I knew it was going to be tough, but I didn't realize it was going to be that bad, like how it was going to be. Like I had no idea in my mind. If I knew that before, I would have never joined the army, or I would have been a cook, because it would have been a lot easier if I would have been a cook. But I wanted to be in infantry like my dad, so uh, yeah. Um, but yeah, the first week, I think we were there for 2 weeks at the processing brigade or whatever it's called. I can't 30th AG, I think. Uh, because we had to wait to get uniforms. Because they didn't have enough uniforms to go around, and we had to wait to get our uniforms, and but a lot of good people there. Kent Stanky, my good friend, that's the person that wrote to my mom about what was happening to me there. Uh, but yeah, but it was just the food was good at the DFAC. They had like corn dogs and stuff like that. Uh, it was pretty good. I can't remember what we had for breakfast, but I remember it being like eggs and stuff like that. And I'm trying to remember, but I remember watching movies on Sundays. Uh, and and I remember the movies we watched. We watched. I can't remember this movie. I think it's called The Crazies. I didn't really like it that much, but it wasn't a bad movie. Like the ending kind of sucked, but yeah, I think it's called The Crazies or something like that. It's about like these people getting this disease where they kill other people. It's like a virus or something. Anyway, but then the second movie we watched was Full Metal Jacket, and I had seen it before, but I remember watching the boot camp training scene, and I was like, real boot camp can't be that bad, and I was wrong because it was worse than that. Uh, but I didn't know that at the time. I just thought, hey, this can't be as bad as this. Uh, um, sorry, I gotta eat. But yeah, we watched a couple other movies. I don't remember what they were, but I definitely remember Full Metal Jacket at the time, which I had already seen it, but it sticks out in my memory watching it that time because I remember the boot camp training scene so well. I need to drink water. But then we got all our gear and we uh, we got all our gear and we got ready for boot camp. Um, and then the day came when we were going to boot camp. We all got on the bus with our rucksack. I don't think we had a rucksack. We just had our, the duffel bags. I think we had two of them each. Maybe it was one. I can't remember. I think it was one. But it was pretty heavy. And we got to uh, Charlie Company, 219, 130th Battalion. can't remember the brigade, but I remember it well. Uh, and then they shark attacked us, uh, which is where they yell at you to get off the bus, and then they make you run around and do push-ups, and uh, they just pretty much terrorize you. And I remember they're like, wait to call your name, wait for us to call your name, and then go ahead to your platoon. And I think I was the first guy that got called for my platoon. And yeah, because I was the first guy in my platoon that was there. And I remember the drill sergeant that was standing there was the drill sergeant. He pretty much made my life a living hell. And he's the one that got kicked out of the army. He first thing he said to me was, because I came running like a bat out of hell, and the first thing I said to me was like, "Slow down, crazy," and nah, that always sticks out of my mind, because now I am kind of crazy, and he's the one who caused it, almost like it was fate or something. No, I don't want to chop wood. But yeah, and that's the day they made us run around the tree a bunch. They made us do push-ups. They smoked us all the time, man. They would wake us up in the middle of the night just to smoke us and let us go back to bed just to wake us up again to smoke us. And then get up for PT in the morning. Uh, if you don't know what smoking is, it's when they make you do physical exercises until they tell you to stop. I remember one time they were smoking us. We had to put our plates in our IBAs and hang our feet from the top bunks and do I don't know what they're called, but it's a certain type of push up where you gotta push up your body, and it was pretty rough. But that first night, because that day went by super fast, like it was a blur because they were making us do so much stuff. And that night, uh, oh, and that's that. That night, um, when they made us all get in our underwear and stand around, and then we all had to take showers super fast. Uh, we had to take a MRSA shower, which MRSA is something you can get from an infection. So every week we had to take this MRSA stuff, which you can't get in your eyes or in your mouth or anything like that, and you have to shower with it. I made sure I did that, especially when I had open wounds on my hands. I made sure I took a shower and did the MRSA shower like every day. I don't know how I didn't get an infection. Because there was one guy that did get an infection, uh, and his leg just blew up, and they had to rush him to the hospital. I can't remember who it was, but I mean his leg just swelled up. It was pretty bad. They had to carry him out of there. Uh, but I remember the first day when they all they all showed us how to make our beds, and we had to all make our beds. And me and my bunkmate, I made sure we made his bed first, and then we did ours because we did them together. I'm like, we'll do beds together, and apparently we were doing the right thing because I said if if you're not helping your bunkmate make his bed, then you're doing wrong. But so we got that right at least. I remember the thing that the one drill sergeant used to always say to me was like, "You can't get it right." Yeah, which you know, I'm gonna get into it. But I remember that first night I was I kind of just fell asleep because I was so tired. I didn't think about it. I didn't have fire guard that night, so you know. But so I slept pretty decent that night. But we had to get up at like I think they left us alone that night. I don't think they smoked us that night because it was our first night. Um, that second day I don't remember too well. I think we just went. We had class, and then we got. We didn't get our guns yet. I don't remember the day we got our guns, but uh, I think we just had class and we got some of our gear. Like I think we got our IBAs and stuff like that, and I think we got our camelbacks on in 30th AG. Uh, um, but I think we just got all our gear, and I think it might have been like the fourth or fifth day that we got our guns. I remember that. I was really excited to get my gun because I'd never had a gun before. And I tell you what, I cleaned that thing every day. I cleaned it every day and took good care of it. Uh, but yeah, I had an M4. Uh, and man, I called her Roxanne. Is what I named her. Which is what I named my Blazer when I had it. So yeah. But yeah, that first week went by pretty fast. I remember they only gave us 5 minutes to eat. You had to eat fast because guys were waiting to eat, and you couldn't take up their time to eat. Because that'd be something messed up to do. Uh, it'd be messed up if you did that. So I always ate fast. I didn't even eat anything on my everything on my plate. Uh, I just ate what I wanted and then just put my tray up. And I think that's why I lost a lot of weight. Because I lost over 40 pounds in 3 months or 10 weeks. Uh, I think I lost more weight than anybody there. But, you know, but that first week went by pretty fast. And then we started on the shooting ranges. Started getting our sights in and getting our, what are they called? our sight aperture or whatever. It's got a real little red dot in it. It's almost like an ACOG scope. Maybe it was an ACOG scope. I don't know. But we we were practicing. We're probably they said we were going through like 500 rounds a day each on the ranges, and I believe them because we shot a lot. You know, in the infantry, you got to shoot a lot, and you got to be a good shot. I was a pretty decent shot. I could at least hit moving targets or pop-up targets. Uh, yeah. One thing I like to say though is there was a guy who got shot during infantry school. He uh, he uh, he was we're sitting at the ranges, and everybody was shooting that day. All the other platoon companies and stuff. And apparently, the on the one side of the berm, the bullets came cracking over, and they told him to get down, and he was still standing. And he took it right in the shoulder, lost the movement in his arm, and I actually met him at the I can't remember what it's called, but the clinic or whatever, and I talked to him for a little bit. But yeah, so and it's one other story. When I was at 30th AG, there's actually a guy that committed suicide in one of the other companies. Uh, Apparently his wife left him or something, and he just what did he tell you? They went to the range and he pointed the gun up at his chin and pulled the trigger, and that made me sad. And you know, I've had a few buddies from basic commit suicide, and you know it's just horrible. You know, feeling like you could have done something, but you know, most of the guys from basic, we don't really talk. Um, we don't really get on each other's posts. Uh, but yeah, I've had two buddies that committed suicide that I went to basic with after they got out of the army. So if you're ever feeling like that, you should definitely get help. There's always the suicide hotline, and I, I've never had to call it, but I came close to calling it a couple times. Uh, so, you know, if you're ever feeling like that, get help. I'm about to die. Run away. Get away from me. Now you can fight me. But, you know, um, I think shooting the gun was the funnest part. Because, it, was fun. You know, you get to shoot a gun. And we had 3-round bursts on it, which we couldn't really use it on the range, but, I remember one time we were shooting, and my gun got jammed, and I went to pull the lever back. I don't know what it's called, the bolt back, and I didn't pull it back far enough, and it snapped forward, and the bullet in the chamber went off, and I was like, "Oh fuck, here we go." But nobody really noticed it. I think there's a drill sergeant with a recruit next to me, and he kind of looked over at me. But I was pointed down range like I was supposed to be, so I wouldn't have hit nothing. So that's good. I'm glad nothing happened. But you know, you just got to be careful with guns. Uh, you know, they're not toys. Um, but anyway, I want to talk about this one guy. He was a holdover, and he was with us. Which she didn't have to train with us because he was a holdover. But apparently he went to the store, or the what's it called? Pretty much the store, and he bought a bunch of dip, and he was planning to sell it. He bought a bunch of rolls of dip, and they found it on him. So we all had to get searched, and uh, they tore our stuff up, and they they uh, they went through our stuff pretty good. Uh, I remember they found a cigarette in one guy's locker, but it was so old that it wasn't his, but it was so old, and they were like, "That's been there for a while, so that's definitely not yours." Uh, but you know, uh, but yeah, that guy got in a lot of trouble for that, uh, trying to sell that dip. Um, I don't know if he got kicked out on him, but he definitely had to face legal charges, which is legal charges in the uh, what do they call it, DOJ or something like that, JAG, something like that. The Uni- Uniform Military Code of Justice, which is what you have to go to if you get in trouble. So he got in pretty big trouble. Um, but no coins. Yeah, yeah. Might be able to buy some armor, I guess. But yeah, that was the first couple of weeks, and then it was all the bad stuff was happening and getting treated pretty bad. Uh, at the time, I was just kind of like numb to it, uh, but I didn't want to be there. I tried to like break my arm, tried to like break my ankle, but I never could. I never uh, could do it because I didn't really want to hurt myself, but I did want to get out of there. But like at least for a little while, like break my arm and go home for 6 months, and then come back, get home, or go home for 6 months and get paid, and come back maybe to a different company and start over. But I didn't want to leave the army. I just wanted to get out of there. Um, a lot of people got hurt. A lot of people got hurt during the uh, during the training. Um, I remember I almost fell off the 100-foot rappelling tower. Uh, almost fell head first. And what happened was, because you got to climb this big tower with no rope, and it's like the rungs on the ladder are so big that you have to use two hands to get up, uh, or two arms. And you have to use your whole body to get up. And then I got hooked up because I already had my harness, but I guess I didn't do it right all the way. But what happened was the drill sergeant that was the instructor gave too much slack in my rope. So when I went back to go down, I went all the way back and slammed my head into the tower, and then I was like upside down trying to get my leg unstuck. Uh, Trying to get my leg unstuck, and I eventually did. And I went down the tower. I had to walk down, and when I got down, my harness was almost pretty much undone, and that really scared me. I was shaking a bit. Uh, my captain came over, and he uh, he helped me do my harness again. We got it straight, and I had to go back up the tower again. I was just like, oh god, I almost died. Now I got to go up the tower again. Uh, but I did it, and then they just told me to walk down because they didn't want me to rappel, so I walked down and I was fine. They didn't give me too much slack in my rope this time, so I was pretty good. But that was a scary experience, hanging upside down and almost dying. You know, yeah. Um, I'm already level 15, almost level 16. Sweet, but um, let me drink water. Hold on. I remember when I had my mental breakdown after all the stress. Uh, we were at this shooting range. It was a virtual shooting range. It's like a screen, and you have targets on the screen, and you're shooting a gun that shoots like these lasers or something. And if they hit the target goes down. Well, I couldn't hit any of the targets for some reason. Like it was messing with my depth perception. And my sergeant giving me a hard time about it. And then when we got back, he made us run around these two trees. And after running for a while, I just kind of snapped and just threw my helmet down. And I was on my way to go talk to the captain because I was done. I was done with all that stress, and I was uh, I was tired of being treated that way. But you know, uh, but the food was decent. I remember when we had ribs. The ribs were good, and I think they got them from wild boars that they were killing because the I can't remember if the general or the commander of the base was like open season on these wild boars, so they were tearing up like farmers and livestock. I never ran into any down there, but there was a couple guys that did, and they had to run from them. But yeah, uh, but I remember we learned how to use the radio and how to talk on the radio and all that. Stuff like that. Um, We did a lot of rock marching, uh, and I'll tell you about the one story about my rock marching in a little bit. 12 Mile. Uh, but um, what was I going to talk about? I remember like right before we ate. Uh, they had they had everyone do 12 pull-ups, and I couldn't do a pull-up to save my life because my arm was broken, and I just didn't have the strength in my left arm to do a proper pull-up. Uh, and they would all gather around me and be yelling at me to get up the bar and stuff like that. All the other recruits. And I remember uh, that one day in particular, like the main drill sergeant was giving me the problems. They were like, "All right, you gotta hang on to this bar for 10 seconds, and or else he's gonna ram into you." And my hands were so eaten up and had open wounds on them that I was bleeding, and the blood was making me slip off the bar, so I couldn't hang on to the bar. Uh, so I got rammed into every time. But I remember the right before when we were lining up to the effect, we all had to line up and get on two different sides, and then the person that they picked had to run and jump from one line to the other. And I had to do that jump so many times when I had to do it because I'm a short guy. I mean, my jumping abilities are not good, but I always jump my hardest. Like I always tried to get to that other line. I just never could. You know, but I always remember that. Um, but no, with the bones. I'm trying to think of other things I can talk about. I'm trying to remember. I've I've compartmentalized it for so many years that I don't remember it that well. But I remember one time the drill sergeants let a guy drag me down the stairs, like run me down the stairs, grab me by the collar, and just ran me down the stairs around the tree. Uh, I'm so pissed off after that. Uh, that was one of the guys I almost got in a fight with. But you know, I mean, it is what it is. Um, I remember that they taught us how to do medical, like what are they called? Like when you check for broken bones and stuff. And they just taught us basic medical stuff that we would need to know to help save someone's life if we're ever in that situation. And I remember that they all called 2 people from a different platoon, and they said whoever passes this test will win candy for that these kids in school had sent us, and they would win candy for the whole platoon. We never got that candy, but I showed them how to, they asked me how to check for injuries, and I did the whole thing, everything right, and we won, and we won because of me. Uh, but we never got that candy. They probably ate it all. They weren't going to give us candy. But we did have candy in our MREs because we ate a lot of MREs, and I hid mine in my Camelback and just waited for a time when I could sneak it. I remember it was chocolate peanut M&Ms, which I'm not a huge fan of, but at the time I was like, yeah, uh, I'll take them. And I wish they were Skittles, but hey, they're gonna do it. The MREs weren't bad. The only bad MRE I can remember was the veggie omelet. That's the worst one. And I never ate it, but I tried to eat it, and it was just awful. But it came with Pop Tarts, so that was a good thing. But they made us eat a lot of MREs. Uh, but I remember the best thing in the MRE was beefaroni was really good, and I liked the uh, maple sausage thing. It was like a and we had to eat these MREs cold. They wouldn't give us the heaters because you can make a bomb out of them, and that's why they didn't give us the heaters. But so we had to eat them all cold. But I remember the best thing was the Tabasco flavored uh, Cheez-Its. Man, I love some Cheez-Its, and they were so good. They're the best thing to eat. I was always happy when I got them. And the cheese was pretty good. The jalapeno cheese, especially on that bread that they give you. But I think the chicken pita was good too. I can't really remember the name though. Beef stew, I think, was one. But I remember one time we were riding back in one of those Maduses, the trucks, the big trucks, big army trucks, and they we found a bunch of MREs, so we all shared them together and ate them. That was when I was in third platoon. Uh, Started off with first platoon Renegades, and I got switched over to third platoon Wolfpack, and things were kind of better when I got to third platoon. You know, got a little better because I wasn't running that one drill sergeant. Just making my life live in hell. But yeah. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed watching. Hope you enjoyed listening. Have a good day. Peace out.